Welcome to Brea Talks, an insider's look into topics that affect your experiences in the city of Brea. Whether you live, work, or play here, we're bringing you the information you need to better understand your city. So now, we invite you to listen in as Brea Talks.
Hello and welcome. I'm Liz Pharis, and today Brea Talks the role of a city manager. Joining us today, I'm excited to welcome Brea's city manager to the podcast, Bill Gallardo. Bill, thanks for being here.
Hi, Liz. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to share my information with you and the team. Absolutely.
Great. I know this community, they should be excited to hear this and see what they can learn and get to know you. All those, for this episode, that's what we had in mind was really to have our listeners get to know you, but also learn a little bit about how Brea is run as a city. Our residents here, we have a great community. It's beautiful, well kept. We have such a variety of places to shop and dine and entertainment. But it's all intentional, right?
It's all intentional. It's all part of what we do to make Brea a special place, for sure.
Exactly. So kind of wanted to shine a light a little bit on how a city is run. We know, right? We have you as a city manager and also 5 elected council members. So let's start there. Let's start talking about how you all work together and how the city's run.
For sure. So we have 5 elected council members. On even number of years, we have anywhere from 2 to 3 council members up for re-election. The way the organization is structured is we have what is called a council manager form of government. Where the council sets policy and you have a professional city manager run the day-to-day operations. Okay. And every December of each year, the council members among themselves select a mayor for the upcoming calendar year. So this year, council member Christine Merrick was selected last year in December, so she's the mayor this year. And Blair Stewart is mayor pro tem for this year. Come December, the council will then reorganize themselves, and so there's a rotation among the 5 elected officials.
Okay, to kind of take the mayor's spot, which, if anything, like how is the mayor's spot, mayor pro tem, different from the other 3?
Different in the sense that the mayor and the mayor pro tem work with me and our team to establish the council agenda. We meet twice a month, first and third Tuesday of the month, 7 p.m. Sometimes we meet earlier upstairs in the executive conference room for either what is called study session or closed session when we have to talk legal or other personnel matters. But they help with me and we work together to set the agenda. The mayor also does a lot of representation of our community, either at public events, items that she gets invited to, so she'll represent our community. If she can't go, then the mayor pro tem steps in. And if either one of them can't step in, then we get one of our other 3 electeds to represent our community, for sure.
All right, so they take turns that way.
Right.
So what's an easy way for people to understand your role as a city manager versus council's role, right? The little difference between the 2.
Right. So what I do is obviously think of it as the CEO of a business, right? Okay. So the council sets the policy. They provide us with overarching direction. And then I take that policy-related item that they may have brought forward, and then I work with my team to implement some of those policies or implement the vision of the council going forward. So think of me as the CEO of a great organization with a lot of really fantastic people that have really, really wonderful specialties. Okay. And then we take their specialties and we formulate either ideas, concepts, and we run them by the electeds to come up with a product and then bring that forward to the city council, get approval. Sometimes we need funding, and then make these things a reality on behalf of the community and our businesses.
Okay. You mentioned team, so let's talk about And I know,
Yeah.
working with you for over 20 years, I know what you mean
Sure.
by team, but I want to make sure the community understands. So if we just look at it, there's yourself, and then we have directly working with you, you have directors, right?
That is correct.
Of 7 departments?
Yes, exactly. So I have a police chief, fire chief, a public works director, a community development director, a community services director, and an administrative services director.
Yep.
All work for me, directly reporting to me. And so through that team effort, we get stuff done. One thing about Brea, which is fantastic, we have a lot of collaboration between our departments. We work together. Could be a project that may impact community services, but public work is actively involved, or police may be involved in or fire. And so we really work hard together as a unit, as a team, as I mentioned, to get stuff done for our community.
Okay.
Sure.
No, that's great, right? It's never just one person.
Never just one person. Right.
Okay, so another thing we do in Brea is to, represent our city outside of our boundaries, right? And I'm not sure our residents realize just how active we are to make sure Brea is top of mind within the county, state, even the federal government. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that we are not an island among ourselves. We have neighboring agencies that we work really well with and close with. Neighbors of Fullerton, Yorba Linda, Placentia, La Habra, directly adjacent to us. But we also have federal, state, and local partnerships. So we're in the 4th District of Supervisor Doug Chafee. We have conversations with him. We meet with him probably maybe every other month or so to talk about Brea-specific issues. He represents the county. The county has a lot of health and human services, regional parks, things that impact our community. So we want to make sure that he's aware of what Brea's interests are.
And even a border, right?
And
like our northern border is county land.
100%. Also, we also have 2 congressional representatives in our community. We have Congresswoman Young Kim and Congresswoman Michelle Steele that represent the city of Brea. So we are always communicating with our federal partners to let them know what issues are transpiring in our community. And we've been successful over the past few years to get what they call earmarks or appropriations from the federal government to help us with some of our big projects. One of them, we just got a grant for our Vista Park modernization. We've got some projects in for some trail access, the Tracks of Brea Trail and so forth. So that's wonderful as well. And then our state partnerships with Senator Archuleta and Assemblymember Phil Chen. We're always in Sacramento looking at what's going on in Sacramento, making sure that they're understanding what our interests are in Brea and seeing if we can get grant opportunities and things coming our way to help move projects forward. And that's important.
And ultimately benefit the community and bring
100%.
either new or modernized amenities.
100%. And if we're active in communicating with our leadership outside of Brea, then it just helps achieve our goals. And if we can get some money from the state and the federal government to help move projects forward, we're all in on that. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit and specifically talk about you and your journey to become a city manager. I mean, where did this all start? I mean, until I started working here, I didn't even know the term city manager.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So when I was undergrad at Cal Poly Pomona, which is just up over the hill, my buddy Alex and I were in the business school of business together, and he said, "Hey, let's go to the Career Center." And I go, "What are you talking about?" "Let's go to the Career Center. Let's see if we can find some jobs. We need to start thinking about our long-term careers." And we went to the Career Center, and there was 2 internship openings at the small city of Walnut, and that's near Pomona, up over the hill here. And I didn't even know what the city of Walnut was or what it was all about. And there was a finance intern position and a business licensing intern, somebody to help collect their business license taxes. We both applied for those jobs, and we both actually got those part-time jobs.
Okay. Both of them.
He as the finance intern and me as a business license intern way back when, and that's where it started my seedling of a career working as an intern for the city of Walnut many years ago. And once I graduated from Cal Poly, they offered me a full-time position. It became available, and so I started in the finance department. And really, my love is numbers. That's where I knew. I said finance is my jam, if you will. And I worked there for a couple of years, 2.5 years, and then I saw an opening here at the city of Brea.
Okay.
And I knew way back when Brea has had a great reputation to be, being a leader in the government world, if you will. And I was fortunate to get an entry-level position here in the finance department as a management analyst working on budget.
Okay.
And that's how I started my career in the finance department many years ago. I became revenue and budget manager shortly thereafter, and then finance director. And then during the Great Recession, we had a couple of department heads that retired. And the city manager at the time said, hey, your Department of Finance is now going to be the Department of Administrative Services, and you're going to take over human resources and also information technology. I was like, whoa, it was a big jump from doubling my team from 20 to over 60, if you will. And then shortly thereafter, really tapped me on the shoulder at one point and said, hey, I need you to be my number 2 assistant city manager. And at that time, I was kind of leery about it, but, he encouraged me that I had enough skills and capabilities to lead the organization when he wasn't here, which was great. And one thing led to another. He was out on a medical, and I had to take over the organization. And he had prepaid for to attend the city manager's annual conference. It's a statewide conference of city managers, and I went in his behalf. And I'd never been to a conference like that before, and I went to the conference, kind of walked in the room, looked around, and after a period of time, I said to myself, I can do this. I can do this. Right. I can compete with anybody in this room here, so to speak. I knew I was better, at least, than folks in this room, just based on my credentials and what I've done. And kind of the rest has been history. It's been it'll be 9 years in July.
9 years as city manager.
9 years as city manager.
Total years in Brea.
Total years in Brea, 34 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's a long time. But this organization has so much. It's given so much back in that if you encourage yourself and do well, but also want to learn and grow, this organization has always been about learning and growing.
So that's true.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
So here I am.
I agree with that.
Love it.
Okay.
I love it, for sure.
So what is it that you love most about public service, to have dedicated so many years to it?
Yeah, I think because it's where the rubber meets the road. It's where we can really impact our community, either residents or businesses, like real time. If they call us with an issue or a concern, we can get on this stuff really quickly and impact people. Versus, the Fed and state. I mean, the big, large agencies, they all have their purpose, obviously. But us at the local level, we can really make an impact for someone that needs our assistance, or even just lending an ear or directing and guiding them to what the solution could be. It's pretty awesome.
And you're right, because we get to see our residents, our business owners. We get to interact with them one-on-one, and higher levels of government don't get that very often.
Yes, absolutely right. And I think when you see the look on people's faces when they get a call back from the city manager, or they understand that we're there to help them and support them and do what we can when we can, they are very appreciative. And I think that's what makes Brea special, and that we really work hard on connecting with our community and trying our very best to give them the best service we possibly can. Yeah, for sure.
No, that's very true.
Yeah, right.
So I'm sure when you first took this job, you had some goals, some aspirations of making an impact. Where are you now? What goals do you have in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things I really enjoy is I'll call it building our bench, preparing the next generation of leaders. We have some fantastic people in our organization, and we continue to attract some fantastic people to our organization when we have openings. I think my job is not only building our bench, but also I'll call it leading by example, right?
That's right.
High character, positive energy, supporting, encouraging, believing in our people. Kind of getting out of the way at times and letting people run with it, but also keeping our eye on the prize, right? What are we here for? What are we trying to do? Encouraging and supporting. I think that's a big thing that I have to do or feel I need to do as a city manager. We've got great professional staff. They do a fantastic job. Encourage, support, and lead us to victory, if you will, on projects. Makes it all better. Makes it all worthwhile, if you will.
Right, and better in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
So what would you say to people who want to get more involved in the Brea community or in any community, right? How can they get involved or make a mark or make an impact?
For sure. A couple of things. So we have a program that we just started 2 years ago, which is called Engage Brea. We offer it in the spring, and it's an opportunity for people to learn more about their local government. We've had 3 sessions now. All have been fantastic, where people have learned about our organization, department by department. That's a fantastic way. But we also have some really, really wonderful social media content through our website, through our Instagram, through Facebook, all of our social media outlets. And you can actually go online and sign up to be notified when council meetings are occurring, any kind of city communication. We have Brea Line, which is a fantastic publication that we put together. But we also have a monthly version, a real-time version that shows you what's going on in our community to help you.
And don't forget about your city manager report.
Oh, yes, exactly right. I do have a monthly city manager's report that all the departments contribute to items and things that are of importance to our community, to let them know what we're working on to make Brea better.
In real time, right?
Yeah, real time.
Try and let people know what's happening all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Sure.
That's what we strive to do.
Sure.
But even, you touched on being an intern. I started here as an intern, but we still have a lot of interns that run through the city all year round. And I think that's part of Brea's culture.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. And I would say even if local government is not your cup of tea, if you can get an internship at any kind of an occupation that you're interested in doing, you can test drive it a little bit and figure out if that's what you want to do. I highly recommend people do that. But you're right. Internships are great. They're an opportunity for us to see how you do and see if you like us. And, I always believe that good work and hard work creates opportunities for people. And you will get noticed if you are a good hard worker and take care of business and get stuff done. People will start noticing. And when you start getting noticed, then good things happen. And I feel that that's kind of been my fortune along the way, for sure. So it's great.
No, that's great advice, right?
Absolutely.
For our next generation of city leaders.
100%, yes, for sure.
Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming on and for sharing with us. I think it's great for the community, like I said earlier, get to know you as a city manager, but also a little bit on how their city and community is run.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Liz and team. Again, a great organization with wonderful people, great electeds that help me manage the organization and our community. So it's been a pleasure. So thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Sure.
That's it for this episode of Brea Talks. This episode and all episodes can be heard wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on Brea TV and the City of Brea's YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, rate, and review, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again for listening in as Brea Talks.